What is also true is that the occupation and what's happening to Palestinians is unbearable. There are people right now who are dying who have nothing to do with what Hamas did.
That was former President Barack Obama weighing in on the brutal airstrikes that have been killing innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip, drawing attention to the unbearable deaths of these innocent Palestinians. Now, Obama made these statements during an appearance on Pod Save America. Here's more of what he had to say.
What Hamas did was horrific, and there's no justification for it. And what is also true is that the occupation and what's happening to Palestinians is unbearable. If you want to solve the problem, then you have to take in the whole truth. And you then have to admit nobody's hands are clean, that all of us are complicit to some degree. I look at this and I think back, what could I have done during my presidency to move this forward as hard as I tried? I've got the scars to prove it. But there's a part of me that's still saying, well, was there something else I could have done? That's the conversation we should be having. Not just looking backwards, but looking forward.
Now, typically when a former president comes out and says something that seems provocative or courageous, I'll be critical of them because it's like, hey, where was that courageous attitude when you were in charge? But to be fair to Obama, he actually had a notoriously frosty relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu because he was one of the few presidents American presidents who was willing to demand that Netanyahu pump the brakes when it came to illegal settlements and when it came to any brutality toward Palestinian civilians. And he also bumped heads quite a bit with Netanyahu when he secured the Iran nuclear deal, which I'll give you more details about in just a moment. Netanyahu did not want an Iran nuclear deal. Netanyahu has always been thirsty for war with Iran, and of course not to fight that war with just the IDF, but to pressure the United States to involve its own military in that war. So here's a video just kind of summarizing some of the issues they had when Obama was in charge.
Analysts say President Obama and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu despise each other.
There's a fundamental sense of mistrust.
Former State Department insider Aaron David Miller calls the relationship the most dysfunctional ever. Each side thinking the other is ignoring their interests.
I think the president looks at Netanyahu. He doesn't feel that there's much respect for American interests. And the prime minister looks at the president and considers him bloodless and insensitive when it comes to really understanding Israeli needs.
Remember that supposed to be private exchange between the then French president and Obama in 2011. Sarkozy saying, I cannot bear Netanyahu. He's a liar. Obama responding, but I have to deal with him even more often than you.
But look, it wasn't just Obama who had deep issues with Netanyahu. So did Donald Trump.
You've probably heard that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, or Bibi as he's called, were best buds, that it was a bromance. Well, turns out that's bull. By the end of his presidency, Donald Trump couldn't stand Netanyahu. He thought Netanyahu was disloyal and ungrateful for everything he had done for him. By the time I talked to Trump in April 2021, he was over Bibi.
I haven't spoken to him since, right? I didn't talk to him.
That's right. Donald Trump said F him when it came to Benjamin Netanyahu. And one more clip that's really important because Trump disclosed that he did not believe that Netanyahu was ever really serious about pursuing peace. Let's watch.
What a lot of people don't know is that actually in the first year of his presidency, and Trump told me this, his relationship with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was very, very good.
And it was almost like a father. I mean, he was so nice. Couldn't have been nicer. Now, the world and me, before I met with both of them, I thought it was the exact opposite. I thought the Palestinians were impossible, and the Israelis would do anything to make peace and a deal. I found that not to be true.
And I find it very interesting and actually kind of surprising that, like Obama and Bill Clinton, Trump also came to the conclusion that Bibi was not sincere about wanting peace with the Palestinians.
I think he just tapped us along. They just tap, tap, tap. I don't think Bibi ever